now, I believe I'll get a notification here pretty quick. And yeah, we're live. So
Nice.
we'll kind of just shoot the shit here for a minute until anybody gets on. But no, I think we got something cool here, George.
That's cool.
I think we're on to something.
I like it. It's fun too. And so
yeah, that's it's funny as now that everybody is like on quarantine, they have to do these Zoom meetings, but that's what I've been doing since the beginning for podcasts, because I live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So it's hard to get a face-to-face interview except with like Pete the farmer down the road. And which I probably ought to get him on anyways because he's funny, but but those are the only people that like really that I could get on readily. So like I've been doing these Zoom meetings forever, and they work just fine. But I've known about that for a while, just out of necessity.
like you said, I actually think I have better meetings. We're so spread out with the ranch employees, and then now that I got the sale barn on the other side, I've had better collaborative meetings since this deal, introducing this Zoom meeting to the whole deal. I like it better because then you don't you use less time
Oh
in those
yeah.
kind of deals too, really.
Well, and like if you're not feeling it, you can just be like, "Oh, hey, my bad connection, I'm out," and you just drop off, no problem, and you don't have to worry about getting frustrated.
Irish goodbyes, dude. Yeah,
yeah,
you don't have the Irish goodbye party either.
Yeah. What is our family term is called the shady dip. So you just shady dip right on out. But it's a good move because even though like it'll be like a couple days later, they're like, "Oh, where the hell did he go?" And I'm like, I don't know, but at least you did. At least you didn't say something that you'll regret later on. So you just take a cool and
well, the other thing is if you say bye to everybody, you'll never leave.
Oh fuck! See, you're exactly like me because you Greeks are very fertile, as same way us McKinleys are. So like when you go to leave a party, especially like a family party, that's a 2-hour process of just shaking hands, giving a hug, kissing grandma, kissing the aunts, and like 2 hours later, you might get out of there.
Maybe if you want to leave by midnight, you start leaving at before dinner. 6:30.
Oh yeah, exactly. You plant those seeds real early. But on a Zoom meeting, you can just click and like me no sabe nada.
Airplane mode.
There you go. Oh fuck. Well, I think we got a couple listeners here. So what's up, Daylight Burners? Back here with George, and we're gonna recap the market, and we are gonna give a hefty take everything said with a grain of salt, because we were talking here a few minutes before here. You can use conventional knowledge as to where the markets are going and make a projection, and you'll probably be fucking wrong because we haven't seen markets like this probably ever. So we're gonna report what we know. George is gonna tell us some numbers. We'll make some guesses and estimations about where the hell everything's going, but at the end of the day, your guess is as good as ours, but we'll try to give you some good info in between here and there.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back on, McKinley. And yeah, like you said, we'll just try to get some data numbers, hard numbers first, and try to digest from there because dang sure unforeseen times. It's just kind of fucking crazy what we're seeing out there. We got the kind of the record beef cutout to end the week. The demand for, I mean, the 30% drop in production over these are the 30% drop in kills roughly over the last couple of weeks has really sent this beef way higher. And it is kind of crazy to kind of function. We're trading fat cattle in 95 and the beef's up there. You know, I think what I wrote down is it finished like 9 higher today on the choice. Like the choice select spread is $14.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then $6 higher on the select. I think we got a lot of stuff like that. The beef price is kind of crazy to even think about. Up there, like 280, people thinking it's going to cost $3. $3.00 next week. This kill being so far down. We had a report on the end of this week. So cattle on feed comes out every month. This one we're in April. So this one was the April 1st cattle on feed March placements. Mm-hmm. March placements were down like 77% of a year ago. And March marketings were 13% higher than a year ago. So the placement number is really low, lowest in the USDA data set. And the marketing number is the second highest. So actually we're down 5.5% for cattle on feed. 11.297 million head of cattle on feed and the 1,000 plus head feedlots. So, I mean, we can look at that. I mean, we really marketed a lot of cattle going into this pandemic. That's what leaves us into better shape to take these 2 weeks of slower kills. 4 and 6 weeks of slower kills would hurt, but we are not placing cattle either. So we're not jamming the cattle into feedlots, one, because heck, there isn't cattle leaving the feedlots, you know, but there was in April, there was a big difference where there was a lot of cattle leaving and a few cattle coming in. So we have less inventory to market. That's leaving a lot of people kind of more friendly the back end of this market, the back end of this year, because the market ready cattle that might be available or not be available, let's say, you know, that was kind of a big deal in the market. It's going to make the market react on Monday. I think in a normal deal, this is the most bullish report that has ever been released in a normal market. This year, probably maybe a little muted, you know. I mean, with this kind of report, you're probably lock limit up for a few days on a normal market. Like you said, there ain't nothing normal. There's not anything normal about this market. But I would say it would be it's friendly to the market regardless. The slaughter numbers and stuff aren't really good right now, so we're going to see how these next reports come and what the market wants to react to. But I mean, a lot of the placements were lower on heifers instead of steers. I mean, I got steers placed down 361,000 head, 4.5% lower, and heifers were 295,000 head down, but that's 30% lower year over year. A lot of people didn't market their heifers, slow marketed their heifers, and they still have them out there not traded. I mean, the debate would be over that is it herd expansion again, or are we going to see, is it just a continuation of herd contraction? Because, you know, just because these heifers aren't going to get bred, they're just going to go on to, you know, when the market situations change, they'll probably come to town as market animals, you know?
Yeah. I've heard talk, and I've read a couple articles about how the West, and this is the first I've heard of it, which is kind of surprising since I live in the West. But I've heard some articles about the West is prepping for like what they call a mega drought, something along the lines of say the drought that broke in like 2013 and like the Dust Bowl days. I don't see that happening. I think California is pretty dry right now, and there's certain parts of Colorado, but I think you could agree with me. Like, this is some of the wetter times I've ever seen in my life. And like, I'm not that old, but half of my life was spent through that big drought that broke in 2013, 2014. I don't think we're anywhere near that. I could be wrong. I'm not a meteorologist, but I don't think that's playing nearly as hard into cattle producers' minds as it is, the media, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's interesting you bring this up because one of my few points, like we were just talking about, hey, man, what a hard market to predict. And it is.
yeah.
And so
It's impossible.
It's impossible. So what do you do? What do we got to do to kind of follow, just little steps? And one of it is what you brought up is, I think the first and most important part is start to monitor the operations forage situations as far as cow-calf operators where you're operating and extended, like for me, like what Nevada guys are doing. The USDA's NASS, the National Agriculture Statistics Service, they come out with a weekly pasture and range condition update, and it'll start coming out pretty soon. It'll come out Monday afternoon.
Okay.
I mean, every Monday afternoon it'll come out. So every Friday we will kind of report on that Monday's report. Also, look on my Loma Livestock website, lomalivestock.com. I have a market commentary.
Hey, you're kind of a sponsor of this deal, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you tell us about Loma Livestock?
Hey, yeah, let's just thank you for that little in. I appreciate that. That's why McKinley, I mean, over a couple of years, getting good at this stuff.
I'm working on it.
But I'll tell you what, Loma Livestock, something started last year. We're located in Loma, Colorado. We're a livestock auction barn, have sales every Wednesday. Well, now we're every other Wednesday.
1369 12 and a half road, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. Right there in sunny Loma, Colorado, my friend. And it's been good. It's been fun. We've been doing some stuff later. Sold a lot of cattle, worked for a lot of great consigners in that country and everywhere. And I'm actually glad you asked because I'm unveiling, and I had my first video lot last week, but Loma Livestock Video Auctions is also another deal where even producers around you, McKinley, can call me up. I can film calves, and every other week we'll have a live auction on the internet. I'm signed up with DV Auctions now. I was pretty happy with how it went the first sale and how that video deal went. So now I'm going to start to be a no PO, no pass out fee option for forward contracting calves, be a cheaper option to some of these producers. So I'm getting a lot of my I'm focusing solely on internet based and technology, but still having the weekly sales. But just this is going to be an addition in another way. It can help sellers sell their stock and try to get us through these markets. Why I'm doing it every other week is because of the volatility in this thing. We're going to get our spots to kind of market, and if I can have film and edit and have video ready when the producer tells me let's go, well, we can put them on and try them 1 week. If he or she doesn't like the price, it won't cost them a thing to pull them off, especially for this first trial year. So that's how I'm kind of introducing a new marketing tool to the new market, if you will. McKinley.
Hell yeah. And you know what? You go that route, you might have to spend like a couple $100 on a camera if you have to film them yourself, which you probably won't. But that's your main expense. You also don't have to pay freight to Loma.
Yes, exactly. And if you want, it's even better. I can keep the rate cheaper to the seller if he'll give me some camcorder type video of calves, and I can pull it off the cloud. I'm gonna use technology in a way that I can keep slim in my production, and I can edit most of the stuff here. Most of my sales are on high-powered laptop computers now, and then all my editing will be on there. I'll be ready to have a sale anytime, anywhere, and just ready to respond to the quick actions of the market.
Well, George, I got to say, I watched a little bit of the sale this last Wednesday, and if there was an Oscar for taping cattle sales, you'd definitely win Best Director.
Thank you. That was all me too. I appreciate it.
Isn't video editing such a pain in the dick? I hate it.
It is, and that's the whole deal too. The livestock the video auction portion is that getting that 15 minutes, clamping it down to one, and showing the best side of them cattle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and making it look professional too, because like you can trim it down, but if you don't transition to where it like fades into another nice fancy cow, it doesn't work. So it's good work on your part. There's a lot of shit behind the scenes that it takes a lot of work. It's not real work or you don't think it's real work until you sit down and try to do it, and it shit takes time. It takes time.
And it's a kind of work like, I love the work that you get sweaty and you get working with your hands. This kind of work's mentally draining and ton of time right here in this little cove. I mean, I don't mind it. I like what I do. Don't get me wrong. But, it's just a different kind of work,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And being in the cow business, everybody out there in the cow business, they know you're always looking for little corners to cut. So like, can I do this with a free program rather than paying, like say the audio software that I use cost me about $20 a month. Not a bad deal until you start all your subscriptions start adding up and you're like, oh fuck, what can I cut from this? And my audio editing is not one that I can cut. Like I can do it with a free app, but it takes me about 7 times the time to do it because you can't do shit simultaneously like you can with the paid. So like you got to get creative, and like, we've talked about, and we'll continue to talk about, if you're in the cow business, you better get creative right now because it's not in your favor right now. It's not in your favor.
You need to figure out a way to get some length in your cattle, That's it. Stretch them out, get creative, like you said. There's a lot of, that's why I want to offer up a kind of maybe a better value. Like, I'm not a big, huge, like, livestock auction, especially not in the video. My buyer pool isn't as big as some, but I could be a better value in the fact of less commission to you. I can use technology a little better, and then the buyer base is building up. So I just think the value and flexibility is what Loma Livestock Video will really be cool for. Something I've been thinking of my whole life, really, just for marketing cattle on the video growing up. And then, let's talk about the video auctions themselves. I mean, they're based around bringing people together in the summer around a video. For contract calves, a bunch of people together. I don't think that'll happen with the COVID now. Also, but it was a good idea back then, and I just want to take it to the next level in the new era of technology.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I was looking at some of the statistics just from my website, my podcast, and my Facebook page, and I've had well, it's always been there was 1 month where Canada really needed to step their game up, but like the vast majority of my listens, follows, website views are from the U.S. A distant second is usually Canada, and then like Australia or Germany. And there was 1 month where Australia actually took second place, and so I had to message some of my Canadian followers just to give them hell because, well, they're Canadians, so whatever. They better take it. But there's people in like Slovenia that watch this every now and then, and not that they're ever going to buy any cattle, but they might know somebody in the U.S. that does, and so that's kind of the thing. I've been trying to stress on the social media deal, where like there's a lot of folks in our industry that they don't like it, and I understand why, because social media can be very, very toxic, but it's a very good tool because you can reach a ton of people in a very short order. And also it's just out there. Unless you delete it, it's out there for a long time. So it could be 3 years from now, and some order buyer from Kentucky that is needing a place to go with 4 truckloads of calves, he'll see this podcast maybe and be like, oh, Loma Livestock, I'll give them a caller, because you can call them at 970-858-9988, and he might just do that and be like, hey, can you sell these on the video? And you'd be like, fuck yeah, I can. Just try me.
Hell yeah. Exactly. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. And I'm going more and more to being more active, and it is, social media is scary, but being more active there and on the website, putting stuff out there all the time now, and just I want to drive people to it. I know people are set on publications and these different journals that for this last generation of ranchers they've really been looking at reading into, and that's where they get a lot of their info.
Mm-hmm.
But the new market is so fluid. It moves so much. It's hard to keep up with your customer base when you're a week behind publication,
Yeah, well, and then especially if they're reading the publication and also watching the market on their phone every day too. So they're like, what the fuck's happening? Well, it's a different ballgame.
And they're watching the market on their phone already, McKinley, and that's why I'm saying just revolve to you're already on your phone watching the market. Just go to lomalivestock.com and check my market report. Check my market commentary issue. I just write some things. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week I'll post charts. I'll do different things. I'll post weather. Then the market consignment page is on there, and it's changing up to the day of the sale. So if I have to turn my market consignments in a week before, my consignments look a lot lower than they actually are, because it's hard to make a decision during these times. So sometimes you make it right up till the end. And I want to be fluid and willing to go with any decision and still be willing to market it. So pushing a lot more to this.
For sure. And I just got a listener comment said social media is also, it's either free or very, very cheap if you do a sponsored post. And that's one of the, and that may change, you never know. But as of right now, use the fuck out of it, because especially like and you don't even have to have a whole lot of friends or a following. If you post it into a group that's got, say 10,000 people, as soon as that post goes live, you got 10,000 people potentially that are looking at it. So it's social media is a good thing. And, it's it can be scary, but I think it's the way we're gonna move forward here in the future. So, uh, either get on board or get left behind.
Yep. And I like it, man. I really do like, I mean, it's a cool way. All this stuff that we're putting together, even through this quarantine, if you will, like you said, our lives really haven't changed. But I like this teleconferencing. It forced the whole world into this kind of teleconferencing deal. And I think for like rural communities and even ranch communities, it's huge. I mean, huge,
Oh,
even for like
absolutely.
healthcare, now these
Yeah.
doctors are comfortable diagnosing via a teleconference.
Hmm.
I mean, it's big.
It really is, and it's just cool because like now instead of paying a couple grand to go to some conference, you can just even if they charge you pay the $50 or whatever, and you log on, and you don't even have to wear pants. Like I'm not wearing pants right now, but whatever.
That's the cool part. I really love. I love. There's glass half full approach to this deal, and I think we're gonna come out of it so much better off than we went into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little rough now, and it might be even rougher as we go forward. As a guy with calves on the ground, I think you just got to figure out, uh, hey, how long can I carry these things?
Hmm.
And then just be honest with yourself, and then try to hit the best market that you think is going to be legit, at the time when you have to sell them. Like I said, take them to the livestock markets live, or call us up, we'll video them. I mean, and every day I'm watching these markets. That doesn't mean I know where they're going, but I know where they're at, and that's like half of the battle. uh so, I mean, you can always call me up right there on my cell phone, 970-326-8621, or like drop us a message on the Facebook page too, McKinley. Try to just direct a lot more of that traffic Facebook page and to the lomalivestock.com. I mean, that's where I'm going to start. I've been posting more and doing more of that, and I think I can really keep in touch with you as customers better that way. Uh, so
Oh
I
yeah.
like that whole deal, dude. And then, I mean, we were talking about little things like look over. We talked about weekly pasture and range conditions. That report that's coming out. We're gonna look at these placement reports on this cattle on feeds as they continue to come out. Low placements mean there's still a lot of cattle in the country. Um, the price of feedstuffs, of course, I'm just saying really simple things. And then, of course, the dairy sector is a little bit problem right now too. So that was what happened to some coal cow prices a couple weeks ago when those dairies really hit the sell button. So we're just gonna have to see on all that stuff.
Well, I think you're just gonna have to roll with the punches here for the next little while because, like we said, shit, nobody knows where it's going.
No, and I mean, if this mega, there's. I mean, I think if you look on the back end of this deal, you can find some optimism, especially with these lower placements and what beef demand and these prices have done. But that doesn't mean the volatility is here to stay, and I don't think the economic environment might change much, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think it's gonna be a little bit before we're back into like, wow, well, it'd probably be 10 years before we're back into good economic shape, but like back into kind of somewhat normal, we're looking at a ways before, there's there's states like here in Nevada and California and, New York and places like that. They're still looking at like another 30 days before they start to ease back into opening shit up. So I don't know, man. It's a difficult time. So oh, it's like we said from the get go. We'll tell you what's going on. We'll tell you where the market's at. As to where it's going, man, as far as I can tell, who the fuck knows?
Yep. He's got to like take your shots and then try to keep your expenses minimized this year. And then just keep up to date here every week just for maybe some raw data numbers and
Yep.
something that you can analyze yourself. Every operation is a little different, and just here to offer some different options, different just raw data numbers that people can kind of put their own opinion on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I gotta run for a minute here, George. I'll be right back, but I'm gonna put it on you. So tell everybody like where they can find you, all that good shit, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, you can find, like I said, we were talking earlier, come on to lomalivestock.com, and that'll be the main information page avenue. Also on Facebook. Don't have an Instagram yet, not even personally, so maybe got to get with the times there a little bit. While we're waiting with McKinley, I mean, I can't see what anybody wants, but we were talking a lot about different charts and stuff, different slaughter numbers. The slaughter number, I guess, is the big one. There's been big declines in cattle and hog numbers. Like total cattle slaughter last year was 642,000. Total slaughter this week, 469. You can see kind of a big decline in those slaughter numbers, but you know, we were coming into such a good situation. We killed a lot of cattle. We stayed really current coming into this situation. So it put us in a better type of scenario to get through it. That's kind of like, that's our saving grace, is being able to be into this situation, killing a lot of cattle right now. Now, the next 2 to 4 weeks will depend on how many cattle we end up backing up and how much time do we need to stretch them. So that's why that slaughter number going forward next week and the next 2 weeks is also a really important number to watch. If you guys are watching some estimated daily slaughter that comes out about noon or 12:05 Mountain Standard Time. But McKinley, I was just telling about why we want to watch that slaughter number.
Oh, cause that's that'll tell you where that's where, even though there's a lot of supply on the cow-calf side, feeder side, stocker side, the real supply number as far as the economy goes comes out of the packing plant. So however many they're slaughtering, that's for all those folks that aren't intimately involved with the cattle business, that's your supply number. And it's not a real supply number because there's a lot of cattle like that need to be hitting the chain, be hitting the market, that are not. And a lot of that is a lot of that's due to the virus. So it's a lot of that due to just packers doing what they're going to do. I don't know. It's it's definitely a number that you got to watch. And yeah, it's just it's a tough time right now. Just
no doubt
keep
about
that
it
in mind. Like,
and yeah, and you'll see the other side of it if you're creative, it can stretch. And the other side of it is, and we're not going to call a time on this other side, but it's always pretty dang good. So it's like a lot of your listeners have been here before, and I know a lot of people in the industry have too. So it's a different, unique situation and maybe bigger than anything we've seen. But, it's kind of one of those deals, just kind of week to week, and you know what you got to do. The less you spend is the more you make, and that's a hard thing. That's something I tell myself every day, man. And it's hard.
I'm horrible. I'm horrible at it.
Golly. Talk about it. I mean,
yeah, but it's always darkest before the dawn. So again, it's pretty goddamn dark right now. But I think it's probably going to get a little darker as still. until we figure this thing out. But I don't know. The big thing is like you can't count on the board. You can't count on, even your every week deal. You just gotta do what's best for you.
Yep.
And that's the only like solid advice that I can give. I don't know about George. He might have a little more than I can give, but the only solid advice I can give is do what's best for you. Make it work. That's about all you can do.
That's it. I'll just piggyback off that, like saying there's a lot of different, there's ways like this video deal starting up, and then also have hopefully get to where the point is the next month or two where I have a brokerage. So there's ability to use the futures market to mitigate some risk, but there's options, but stay flexible, stay open to new ideas in the form of marketing, and then use it how it fits your operations. Like you said, everybody's different.
Yep.
And the biggest thing is what you have to spend to make that calf. And that's what's individual between every operation. And that's what you really have sometimes the most control of it. I know it'll be debated. A lot of costs you don't, but they're variable cost that you probably do. And if you can control those better than the next guy, I mean, that's what leads you to the other end of this tunnel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's a good place to we'll call it good on the cattle markets for this week. But I had to ask you, did you watch the draft this we're gonna go ahead and take an optimistic look on life and
let's just go ahead and do that theory, okay? I like that.
So September it'll be week 1 of the NFL season. I didn't watch much of the NFL this last year. I plan on watching more. The Denver Broncos with the 15th pick selected Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. Apparently this dude's a badass.
Yes.
Let me
tell you something. I'm so glad we're on this. Let me get past because Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb were my number 1 and 2 picks for the Broncos. We needed receivers. Yeah. We went with Jeudy, better in the slot. CeeDee Lamb is awesome. Awesome. So good too. I think he went to the Cowboys. But we got a big slot receiver that's probably the best route runner that like Todd McShay has ever seen, is what he said. I mean, I am super excited about Jerry Jeudy. Okay? Perfect.
And you pair him up with Cortland Sutton, who's not the best route runner, but like hands like Odell Beckham.
Oh, and then you got pretty good speed.
Yeah, and then you got Deshaun Hamilton, who's a little smaller, but probably even a better route runner than Jerry Jeudy. So you got basically another Emmanuel Sanders. So you got 3 probably in their prime will be top 15 NFL receivers.
Maybe next year, Jerry Jeudy might be the number 1. I mean, he is that good, I think.
Yeah. So I guess to play devil's advocate, because I like the pick. I do like the pick.
But let's have a little debate because, I mean, let's just see.
Well, just for the fuck of it.
I think it's good.
I think they should have went left tackle. My own personal opinion. I like Jerry Jeudy a lot. I think the dude's awesome. Who's not awesome is Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles is a big fucktard.
Well, okay, go ahead.
He's got freakish athletic ability and size. There's no doubt about that. He's got all the physical traits, but he can't stop holding to save his goddamn life. And he's just kind of a big dum-dum. Like, to put it plainly, he's a big dum-dum.
Well, let me tell you, I like. Here's what I mean. I've been one of the biggest like pushers on offensive line. We need it, but okay, left tackle. We got a younger quarterback now. I'm just looking at. We took wide receiver KJ Hamler out of Penn State in the second round. I just saw Denver did.
They're spreading this shit out, aren't they?
Dude. And you know what? I like it. I like it a lot because our quarterback. I think he's more mobile. So that left tackle position, he just needs to not hold. But I think our quarterback can move. And KJ Hamler's an outside threat, kind of like a Sutton. And now we got that dude in the slot. Okay, my boy out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. And then we got what's his name? Deshaun Hamilton out of Penn State. Same way, like just they call him always open because he doesn't have like the 4.4 speed, but he gets open somehow, just creates separation.
That's how this KJ Hamler, somebody I didn't know out of college, out of this Penn State, but I mean he is quick, man. Oh, he is quick and got hands, so you could bring him out of the slot too. I mean, you could bring him out of the slot too. I like the Broncos going for this because kind of you got to keep up with Kansas City.
Yeah.
In other ways.
That's gonna be a tough one, man.
Dude, but I think you can chip away at Kansas City with Jerry Jeudy and this receiving slot, and then you got Lindsey because Lindsey needs some help from some more deep threats, and then you can't double up Sutton anymore because all the time you're doubling up Sutton.
Yeah,
especially when Sanders left.
Well, that Philip Lindsay, if he doesn't get all the attention, that dude is fucking dangerous. God, he's good. I hate to say it for a CU Buff. Fuck the Buffaloes, by the way. But Philip Lindsay's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he is, but he can't be like Keaton. They can't have 8 in the box all the time.
No, he's like 3 foot tall. You can't do that.
You got to take him like these deep threats that we're getting. What a hell of a really good. The third round's not going yet. I guess Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Philadelphia Eagles take Jalen Hurts out of Alabama.
No shit. He went to the second round?
Yeah, he spelled the second round. Miami took Tua. And
I saw that.
One of the most controversial picks is Green Bay taking Jordan Love.
I saw that, but they're going to let him – they did the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre had what 3 years before he left, and then he went like another 3 years with the Jets and the Vikings, and now Aaron Rodgers will be known as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. So it's not a bad pick.
Go ahead.
As long as they don't expect him to play like this year, like as long as they don't create a controversy about it, which ESPN's going to, but I know Green Bay's always handled that pretty well.
No, and a lot of the 2 top picks of wide receivers were off the table to kind of give him some help, but Rodgers some help. But KJ Hamler, I like that pick. And Jalen Hurts might get playing time out of Alabama because Carson Wentz, he can get hurt quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can.
What I want the Broncos to do in these later rounds is pick up some big, beefy cornerbacks. Dude.
Oh, yeah. Like Aqib Talib style, like big bastard.
Talib is my favorite. Cornerback of all times. Thug life, face, can really tackle, and a big dude. Like we lost some defense when we lost him. Just that whole attitude shut down on his side. We need big dudes. I don't like these little corners.
If you're Michael Crabtree coming in, just know that Aqib Talib's going to take that chain, motherfucker.
Yeah,
he's going to take that chain.
All the way 10 yards off the sideline. I mean, we lost that. Why do you draft little DBs? We got these huge receivers and you draft little DBs.
That's
these big DBs, dude.
The NFL is so slow to adapt. Like you look at the college game, they've been spread out for 20 years.
Yeah.
And the NFL is just finally starting to catch on. I get it that they're bigger and faster, but the offensive coordinators have been slow to adapt.
Yep. Oh, dude, exactly. And the defensive and how they draft their DBs has been slow to adapt because you got these big wideouts, and then you're drafting these 5'8" DBs, 5'8", 140.
Yeah.
Like these guys can just go up jumbo right over the top of them.
Well, like you take Demaryius Thomas, who's like 6'4", and now he's like a number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna go against your slot guy who's like 5'6".
Yeah. I mean, it's jumbo.
Get away, little man. Get away.
I want these big Talib type of DBs. I don't know who's still on the board, but I mean, anything with size. That's how I'm drafted. If I'm Elway sitting in my nice office, I'm drafting after this. I think he killed it on the receivers. Wow. And I think what hurt. That draft hurt Green Bay. Green Bay needs a receiver. They don't have any help for Rodgers or Love.
Yep. Yeah, and also like if you see a top tier cornerback coming out of Compton, draft the motherfucker because he's not going to put up with shit. Like just draft him.
Yeah, exactly.
Just draft him, or for any inner city at that point. Like you see one come out of Detroit or Baltimore, draft him because that guy has seen some shit. So put him on the field and strike some fear into all these these white linemen. No, you got a 6'2" cornerback that can run a 4.5. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, especially with you get some guys that can match up on the outside one-on-one, play bump and run, and guys that can get a little physical. Yeah. And then you can let your defense on the middle kind of eat them up.
Oh yeah.
When you're too scared for that getting beat.
Yeah, and you got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on the corners. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Trayvon Diggs, he got drafted 51%. What's his? I don't know what he's an Alabama dude. He's got drafted on the 51 pick. He's a cornerback.
All right. Well, I like. I wouldn't ever draft an Alabama lineman, but defensive side, draft Alabama all day long.
I think that's a pretty good pick, Diggs. I mean, he just looks like a pretty good shutdown. I think that's what you gotta have. You gotta have these fast receivers, then shut down corners. Yeah, he's got elite size for cornerback. That Diggs, they say he can't tackle, but you want that size.
Yeah, teach him to tackle.
Yeah, he's just got size. He can go up and jump for the ball, knock it down.
Well, that's what we hired Fangio for, wasn't it? To teach the defense how to tackle.
Yep. Yeah, Fangio, dude. Fangio. I'm not saying anybody's on the hot spot, but he might be. He might be on the hot seat. He might be.
How hot is Elway's seat after this year?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've heard there's a lot of stuff like family squabbling inside that.
I've heard that too, but honestly, Elway probably ought to be on the hot seat. Like he did really good with getting Manning. Since then, it's kind of up in the air.
I know, and I have a really hard time even trying to turn on Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
But me and you same age, same generation, growing up with Johnny the Man, and
fuck yeah.
But I don't know what it's like behind closed doors and what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, I bet his seat is a touch hot too. And I mean, the Fangio hire, when you had Kyle Shanahan available, I think that's where the seat gets hot. I mean,
yeah,
Kyle Shanahan was a true talent, dude. I don't think anybody can deny that.
Well, and I think you probably could have hired Shanahan and got Fangio as a D coordinator.
Yep,
But
exactly.
they went with Fangio with the head coach, which I'm not. I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, when Shanahan's out there, I don't know. But then again, he's pissed away 2 Super Bowls too. So
no, he has. I'm not saying that was. And Fangio could come out and kick. I mean, I like the team they're building right now, so I'm not gonna fade the Broncos right now.
I think they're in. I still think if they make the playoffs, it's going to be a wild card because that fucking Mahomes is good.
Oh yeah,
he's real good, and Andy Reid knows how to use him too. That we found that out. So
yeah.
Good thing is Philip Rivers is now in Indy, so we don't have to worry about him in the AFC West. And the Raiders, I don't even think they know what the fuck they're doing with their organization. So that's a good thing.
And the Kansas City took a running back out of LSU, I think, for the first round.
I saw that.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
As if they needed another fast running back, but
oh, I know. The Chiefs first round, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I didn't follow college football at all this year, but I'm guessing he's fast and can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
I think you're right, dude.
Well,
all right, buddy.
What's your predictions for? Well, I guess first of all, what's your predictions for the NFL this year, and then we'll go predictions for the Broncos.
I'm kind of fading that there's even a chance. I mean, in some ways, I don't know if they even have the NFL season, but I don't want to say that out loud. So let's negate that I even said that. But no.
Look at the pan.
Yeah,
didn't happen.
Man in Black. Okay.
Yep, didn't happen.
COVID aside, with the Broncos draft and how we're doing right now, I like the Broncos to give the Chiefs a run for their money. Maybe be splitting. If they played, we'd win at home, we'd lose at Arrowhead, and it'd be some kind of a split for the division. Hopefully, the Broncos get in on the wild card.
When do we play at Arrowhead? Do you know?
Let me see.
Because if it's in December, then yeah, we ain't winning that one. We never have. But
Arrowhead's just so hard to.
Oh, those fucking hillbillies over there. They know how to make some noise.
They do, man. They fucking really do.
Hillbilly. They got nothing else to live for. I have no.
We play at home. All dates are to be announced. But we play away towards the end of the season.
Okay,
so it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. So it's the 6th, the last game.
Okay, so probably we have a chance of winning that. If it's December or January in Arrowhead, we ain't winning that. But I'm kind of with you. I don't know if the season's gonna happen. It'd be interesting if they decide to play some games without fans. It'd be weird. It'd be really fucking weird.
But I know. And as an owner, do you want to do that? I mean, like, you'd rather have? I mean, would you? I don't know.
I think as an owner, hell yeah, because you can sell pay-per-view to it. As a player, I think you're going to see a lot of players say, like they did with the NBA, they're saying, oh, well, if the fans aren't there, ain't playing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So knock on wood, we're going to have an NFL season. I think the Broncos go like a 9-7, 10-6, something like that. Maybe catch a wild card. I think next year it'll be Chiefs and Broncos battling down to like the last game for the AFC West.
I don't think we're quite there this year, but I think we could sneak in on a play or on a wild card. And if we caught the Chiefs just right, I think we could beat them. But also, I think we could get our asses kicked by the Chiefs. So I think it depends on the matchup. But I'm gonna say I'll go optimistic, say 10-6, while number 2 wild card spot for the Broncos.
I totally agree. Jerry Jeudy, our man, is the reason we'll beat Kansas City.
Jerry Jeudy
eating up those first downs.
Yeah, Drew Lock on like a 70-yard go route. As the clock ticks off to end the game, Jerry Jeudy in the end zone, touchdown Broncos.
Love that
touchdown Broncos.
I love that pick all the way.
All right, Georgie.
See you,
been
buddy.
Fun. Sign us off, buddy.
You. We better get our asses moving because we're burning daylight. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Hell yeah. Next Friday, about right around 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Ish. All right. Later, fellas.
See you guys.